Syzygy.
Season 3, episode 13.
Syzygy.
There's her song. There's her song. She sang it. That's what I've been hearing all week. Syzygy. What the hell? This opens up with a very familiar face. If anyone saw Deadpool this last weekend, like I did, good old Ryan Reynolds. I don't know how the hell I spelled that, but I did not get even fucking close. What is that, Reynolds? I don't know what I was just writing.
Reynolds.
Reynolds? That's terrible. That's embarrassing.
He's a baby in this.
He's young.
He's super young.
This is definitely one of the youngest I've ever seen him. This is pre-freaking Van Wilder or any of that shit, or Waiting, or anything that he was in back then.
He's so young. Yeah, he's only in it for literally the opening.
Oh yeah, they kill him off quick. If they would have known who he was going to become, they would have given him a bigger role. But this is our So this episode reminds me very heavily of a movie called Bloody Birthday, where these 3 kids are born on the same night, under the same moon, and because of that they all have murderous intent. They're all psychopathic killers, and these 3 kids become best friends who go around killing people. It's a slasher movie with kids, with Billy Jacoby from Just One of the Guys as one of the kids, and it's awesome. And so this reminded me of that pretty heavily, because that's what's going on here. We get some astrology, and once again, it's so funny, the things Mulder buys into and the things that he doesn't. There's things it's well, yeah, of course I believe in fucking, Bigfoot or, whatever the hell. But then astrology and the psychic from a few episodes ago, he's just what a joke. This especially, astrology, he's just yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I think it's also more that she's the astrologer is she's it's a business.
Yeah.
Whenever he ends up going back to her in this episode to be I need to consult with you about what's happening, she runs his card and doesn't say anything to him until he's approved, which she's you're approved for $300. That's all the government's given him to spend, I guess. Maybe he's already spent it all.
How did she even get that information?
I was wondering that too. I was
1995.
I definitely wasn't buying anything in that 1995 because I was 3, but I don't remember how
she's got on the old computer and went to.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
She was looking at some little thing.
Yeah, it almost looked like a square.
Yeah,
thing. Nowadays it's weird.
Nah,
I don't know.
I don't know how she got an approval. I would think you have to call for that or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea, but. This is another fun episode. We were really excited watching this because the last episode, Mulder and Scully were clashing with each other. Yeah. And then, interestingly enough, this is another episode where they're still fighting, which...
It seems like it's a holdover from the last episode.
It does, but I do think that
it's... not mentioned, but...
It's not mentioned. I think it just, the stories, it lines up really well, in the order that it's given. But ultimately, I do think that it's said the reason they're fighting is because of the
dynamic between them,
the astrological
that too,
or whatever that's happening.
But
it's affecting everybody in the town, and that's why they're fighting.
Yeah. Well, I had read in the trivia for this episode that some of the things that they talk about in this episode, when Mulder. This is a really funny line when she's why do you always have to drive? Which is something we've pointed out.
Yeah, we have.
That Mulder always drives. And he's go ahead, you can drive. Are you sure your feet can reach the pedals?
He's I didn't know your little feet could reach the I wasn't sure your little feet could reach the pedals.
Shouldn't it be your short legs? Her feet don't. Her feet could be this big and still reach the pedals if your legs were long.
Legs or little
it
feet?
Should be legs.
I don't know.
This is actually.
He might have said little legs.
The picture right here from it.
So funny though, because Scully is so mad at him, and she's multiple times in this episode, she's just like, yeah, like, fine, whatever. Like, she's so dismissive about it.
So, okay, what I was getting at here. Gillian Anderson thought the dig at her height when Mulder remarked that he usually drove because he didn't think her feet could reach the pedals was hysterical. This was born out of much online speculation as to why Scully never drove.
Yeah.
Anderson is 5'3". She's only 5... She's 5'3". That's like a normal height.
No,
that's taller than you.
I know.
That's freaking hilarious. Like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it's, well, yeah, it's funny because they do have a pretty significant height difference, which is great. But she wears heels all the time, too. Yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff in this. So the two girls are, like, the two high school, very, like, The Craft.
Very.
They end up getting it. They, like,
well, this came out the same year as The Craft, but this came out before The Craft. Not by much. I think this was, like... Was this January of that year, if I remember correctly? Yeah, January 26th, 1996. And The Craft is like May. So I don't know if there was some like witch hysteria.
The 90s has a ton of like witch stuff though. There's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there's Charmed, there's Practical Magic, there's
May.
The Craft. Like, there's so much witch stuff in the 90s.
What do you think that's from?
I don't know, but I love it. It was, like, very influential for me, for sure.
It's a damn conspiracy by the devil.
No. I think it probably is because a lot of people were like...
Wiccans don't even believe in the devil. That's funny. That a lot of people are like, witchcraft, that's devilry. And it's like, they don't even believe in the devil.
But it's like, it's a change from, like, satanic panic of, like, the 70s and 80s to now it's more like witches can be, like, good and they fight evil. They're not the evil themselves. Like, that's, like, the 90s, like, witchcraft, which does feel kind of like a rebranding because of, like, Wicca kind of getting into the mainstream consciousness a little bit more, because there was also so many books on Wicca that were, like, released in the 90s. And, I mean, there's a bunch of books that I read that I got from the library when it was, like, you know, early 2000s that were, like, written in the 90s. So, anyway, but...
I'd much rather people be Wiccan than Christian or Mormon or anything else, because for me the ones that I've been around, I mean, their religion, like, if you want to call it that, whatever the hell you want to call
religion.
It, is all about, they're like earth children.
Spirituality,
They're like, you know, they worship the earth.
Yeah.
And they want to protect the earth, and they think that the earth is sacred.
Yeah.
And all they want to do is, like, you know, make sure no one harms anyone else. It's all like, do no harm onto others, like, otherwise it'll come back threefold. Like, they're all, which is, like, kind of very karmatic. But, like, the stuff that I was told when I was looking into it, and I dated a Wiccan for, like, 3 years, very, very, like sweet, innocent people. They're definitely, no one's killing anybody in the name of their lord or any of that shit. So it's funny to me that Wiccans are the people, like, witches are the ones that are getting demonized when they literally, like, I don't know. That's just fucking hilarious to me. It's always we always live in opposite world in this.
Wicca is a really cool faith. It was, like, one of the first things out of, you know, Christianity that I was getting into, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's really cool. It is actually very modern, though, and there is a difference between, like, Wiccans and, like, there are Wiccans that refer to themselves as witches, like, that's definitely a thing, but there is, like, separate, like, witchcraft, which has a lot of different variants to it. Like, witchcraft is basically just an umbrella term for, like, a certain type of magic, but that's, like, it varies based on different cultures and time periods and all kinds of stuff. So, but Wicca is, like, very, very modern. Yeah. Which is very interesting, because I think some people do think, like, Wicca, like, Wiccans are practicing some, like, ancient, like, Celtic religion or something, and there's definitely influences to it. But anyway, aside from that tangent, sorry.
You want to help me solve the mystery of the horny beast?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is, I mean, it's funny episode, because, yes, literally this is another episode where Mulder is very flirtatious with this detective that's on the case, and Scully is still jealous about it. Like, so it's
and she catches them in bed together.
She does, and that's hilarious because she's like smoking and Mulder's drinking in this episode, and Mulder even like remarks like, I don't even drink, like I don't know why I'm drinking.
Nor does Scully smoke.
But she, you know, like storms into his hotel room to confront him about something or whatever, and yeah, this police lady is on top of him.
She like jumps him though. Like
her, like, it's weird because she shows up at his hotel room and she's like talking about like the crime, like the murders that are happening, and she's very like business, and then all of a sudden she starts like taking her clothes off, and she takes like one swig of his whatever alcohol he's drinking, brandy or something.
It's like vodka, because he's making like a screwdriver with that freaking orange concentrate. Yeah. Man, who else drank the Minute Maid orange concentrate that you had to buy from the store and put into like a big jug and shake it up with a bunch of water, and that was how you got like your orange juice?
My mom, we did juice.
Yeah.
Apple juice.
We did grape like that as well.
My mom got grape juice. Yeah. Grape juice, apple juice, and like fruit punch blend or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But because we were in Florida, our orange juice was like fairly affordable to get. Yeah. So we got like fresh orange juice. But yeah, that was a gross concoction that he was making. Ugh, and
so gross.
But it's funny because she takes literally like one drink and it's like she's drunk already. It's just the effects.
Well, she's more exactly. She's more drunk on the astrological effects for her, for sure. She kind of jumps him, and he's not in his right head.
Nobody
She's not
is
in her right
in this
head.
town. Like, they're
Mulder's
all crazy.
driving drunk.
I know. That's the girls too that are in this. They have a very like, they like hate him, wouldn't want to date him.
Yeah, they have to like do some chant.
They like repeat what each other says.
Yeah, but they can't do it without each other.
Yes.
Yeah, they have to be like in agreement and focus on their like target together. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to work.
Yeah, I like that there's an theme of like some. Is it an Abbott and Costello like clip or something
on the
TV that's playing on like every channel? I don't think it's Abbott and Costello, but it's some weird like black and white like. It's policemen like chasing each other, or chasing something.
Song I've heard a million times.
Yeah, and then when they do end up, bring the girls to the precinct or whatever, just things go crazy.
That's actually a scary scene because, I mean, they're in a police station and everyone's like carrying guns and there's guns on the walls and they just all start firing and the guys don't know what the hell are going on, is going on. So they're of course like drawing their guns to like point them at people, but they keep going off and like so they think like they're supposed to be like pointing them at people and they're not pulling the triggers and they're firing. I wish there was a little more carnage and death there because I feel like that would have like added to that scene. Like cops keep pointing guns at each other like, what the hell, why'd you shoot him? I didn't. And then the gun goes off, why'd you shoot him? And that could have added a lot more like strain to like the situation and confusion and craziness, but like everything just going off. Imagine like guns just randomly firing on their own.
It would be awful. It'd be really scary.
Yeah, terrifying.
And very dangerous.
And then they lock them in a room together, and then when they come in there, they're just like hugging it out. Now, is this going to happen every year, or is this this is like she said it's like once in like a generation,
80 years or something ridiculous.
Well, shit, when their 100th birthday. They're going to be bringing it down. And they're going to look witchy.
Maybe she says something crazier, like 800 or something. But it's some long time span.
Literally midnight on the dot stops it, which is kind of funny to me because much like the Gremlins or like anything else, it's like, is that Eastern Standard Time?
Yeah,
what is midnight exactly?
Yeah.
It's just like that rotation of the Earth.
It should be like... Actually, I don't know.
I don't know what would be like dead
like
midnight.
Some astrological like once something has passed, but I don't know.
Sure, like when the sun moves out of the alignment or whatever, and you see like because usually it's the eclipse, and when the eclipse ends, right, it's not some just like arbitrary like time on a clock,
like 6:15,
like midnight on the dot.
Yeah,
because at midnight I don't know. I don't feel like the astrological like occurrence would be done.
But there's always like like the witching hour at like 3.
3 a.m.
It happens in like so many movies.
Yeah, the fog.
But it's like, yeah, what time zone are you in? Why does that time matter?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun episode. But then in the next episode, Mulder and Scully seem fine.
Yeah, so this is just kind of like a coincidence that they happen back to back, I think. Or maybe not coincidence, but like it works well because it kind of gives you like they get to fight in person.
Yeah.
And then they're just back to normal.
Yeah.
So.
Anything more?
No.
All right. Well, we're going to go figure out the mystery of the horny beast.
Bye.